perception of how could be the aspirations of young people could be and what are we doing for them. So हम लोग चले या ना चले, देश चल पड़ा. And it is very, very important that we start walking. And believe me, if we start walking and running, I think the system will not come in the way. They may creep. But if you wait for permissions, you may have to wait for one more eternity. So start by offering one MOOC. You can set up your own model, you can do whatever, but start offering. IIT Bombay is willing to work with you. If you want to offer a course, we'll offer a course for you with your stamping. Set up your own MOOCs and train staff and teachers is very, very critical. 2, factor the learners. So empower your centers, provide incentives and some motivation, and encourage use of cyber cafes and enhance engagements. Unless the learners and the facilitators of these learners, those who are the facilitators, centers, partners like MKCL, these are our components which help us enhancing this. So please factor in the learners in doing everything. 3, work full speed on establishing OER repository. All content under Creative Commons. You can choose an appropriate license. It need not be a pure play Creative Commons by attribution alone. It can be, it should be share alike license. Buy and share alike is good enough. If you want to be very protective, you can say non-commercial, although I would suggest not to do that because that puts a hindrance on the utilization of that. So all content, all question papers, reports, dissertation and thesis. Do you know that a huge amount of copying and plagiarism happens in, for example, MCA project reports and such reports? It happens because there is no public scrutiny. If you just make it obligatory that no matter when you submit, we have all our MTech thesis and everything on the web. Most of the universities adopt that. If you start putting it, that act itself will shame people into copying. Because once there is a digital record, even 10 years later it can be found out and your degree can be withdrawn. So encourage people to do that and you do it yourselves. 4th, set up a timetable of action. Because I don't believe in letting grass grow under my feet, but unless some planning is done. So define objectives, tasks and deadlines, set up one or more committees, and this monitoring and review has to happen at the level of the Vice Chancellor. At any other lower level, it will not work, sir. It does not mean that you have to spend time every day, but there has to be a dedicated time. And I know that in every hierarchical organization, when the leader moves, the whole goddamn organization moves. If the leader does not move, then there is some lethargy. So this is just a suggestion. I have just a couple of concerns, not really apprehensions, but some concerns. Number 1, the entire Indian society is unaware of the speed of change that is happening here. And that unawareness inflicts us as well in the educational system. It was predicted that the first disruption in the world, in the global practices happened in commerce. When the web came, the e-services were the first one to be revolutionary. You see today how much of disintermediation has happened. I can book my, forget air ticket, a train ticket sitting at home. Earlier I remember having spent hours standing in a queue in Bombay VT to get a ticket. Okay. All the great thing that you have done, online payment systems possible, all of this has happened because of this. It was predicted in late 90s that the next revolution will come in education and healthcare. Now that revolution will come, but the people who should revolutionize it have to understand and have to appreciate that. Oh, sorry. I don't want to record narration. Okay. So unaware of the speed of change is a important thing. We need to hit this prediction and we need to inform everybody in our system that we don't have 30 years to modify ourselves. We don't have 20 years to modify ourselves. We don't have 10 years to modify ourselves. We don't have 5 years to modify ourselves. We have 6 months. We have 1 year. And therefore our targets for completion of any activity that we plan have to be very, very aggressive. Of course there will be problems. But if we do not set aggressive targets, we will not be able to revolutionize fast. Second concern is that we are unwilling to realize that the achieving quality at scale is not possible without use of ICT. We all understand and appreciate it, but we are not realizing it full strength. If we did, we should be spending 50% of our time in ICT related activities and only 50% in continuing with our paper-based activities. We don't do that as a complete organization. Few individuals, leaders like Vice Chancellors do that, but that is not adequate. Because ultimately, there has to be a group of people who are charged up with that enthusiasm to implement things. So my request is, spread this realization across the rank and file of your system that, look, we cannot achieve the quality that we desire without ICT. Third is our insensitivity to learners. There is some point which Professor Ram Takole has been making for decades, and I have learnt it from him. The need for livelihood is neglected. Fortunately, as I have learnt from yesterday and from today's talk, open universities are far more aware of this livelihood requirement than closed universities. And that's the reason why I believe that open universities have a chance to march ahead of other universities. But there has to be a recognition of self-learning. Okay. So there has to be a system by which people should be able to give. Suppose I say that, okay, your degree consists of so many different papers. I think I know these papers. Permit me to give an exam. I'll just give the online exam. Grade me. And then factor those credits in. This is not happening because the skill-based learners, they learn a lot of things. They can acquire that knowledge in a short time. At least our conventional university system says, no, you might have learnt everything, but this is our degree course. I am tempted to cite one more instance that I give as an example. If a student comes to me who comes from a city and from a good family, who has studied computer programming in 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th standard, and comes and says, Professor Phatak, I need not do your first year compulsory course in programming because I already know programming. I say, no, it's a core course, you have to do it. He says, just take my exam and permit me to take this interesting elective instead. He says, no, exam will be conducted at the end of the semester. You have to register for the course. Incidentally, 85% attendance is compulsory. I am wasting his one semester, although he has learnt everything. Take another person who comes from Jharsuguda or some small place where he and none of his friends and families in the whole village have seen computer anywhere. He's a smart guy, cracked joint entrance exam and come to me. He understands in the first week that to learn computer programming will take him longer. He is bright, but he comes and says, sir, permit me to study this for 1 year instead of 1 semester. I'll give the exam at the end of 1 year. And no, the structure of the course is 1 semester. You have to give in this semester. Sir, I will fail. Then you will get an opportunity. You can re-register for that course again next year. Learning the same course twice in 6 monthly fashion is not the same thing as learning for 1 year. MOOCs provide for this. I don't have to, that is why we are giving self-paced courses. You complete a course in 3 weeks, you complete a course in 3 months. Is your choice. All quizzes, everything is defined. Only thing is, unless you finish first quiz, you will not be able to take the second. In short, I am convinced that a disruption is bound to happen. My only request is, can we make this impending destruction constructive by adopting it? Our commitment is that it's a collective endeavor, so the commitment has to be a joint commitment. I come from a technical institution, surprisingly not under the purview of AICTE, or it is not known whether we are under purview of anybody or not. But whatever it is, not only my institution, there are several institutions which will be willing to work closely. I can tell you from my knowledge of the ministry, the Honorable HRM herself and the ministry is inclined towards institutions adopting this faster and moving ahead. As I said, the work on SWAYAM, now AICTE chairman himself is handling it. But whatever time it takes, we need not wait. We can start working on it. And the initiative has to be taken by us so that This is, no, you can ignore that. This is just a screenshot of IIT Bombay X, but there are MOOCs being offered by NPTEL, there are MOOCs being offered by IIT Kanpur, there are MOOCs being offered by private organizations. There is a skilling organization called A Million Light in Pune, which offers skilling courses free. They charge for certification or something, but there are various models that can be explored. And believe me, as we said, the affordability has enhanced significantly because of the availability of online thing. It is for us to exploit it properly. I invite all to join us so that our life is as beautiful as the dewdrops that I'll show in the next one. This one, I have added this slide because you mentioned about personalized instruction. Curiously, National Academy of Engineers of the United States few years ago listed 14 grand challenges of engineering for this century. Among other multidisciplinary problems such as clean drinking water, inexpensive solar energy, they have put personalized instruction, advancing personalized instruction is a grand challenge for the whole century. So although theoretically it is possible to analyze all events and try to build models for individuals, it will take quite some time to actually not only do that, and then after framing the model, to provide an appropriate additional material for learning for each individual based on individual capacity. But that is the direction that we are taking, sir, and we should achieve it much before the century end if we work together. That's all I have to say. Let the life of all the Indian learners be as beautiful as the dewdrops on this. There's a picture sent to me by my colleague, Dr. Wagh of MGM College in Delhi. The word dew has some special significance for me. The three letters D, A, and W to me mean D for dreaming big, so that people's aspirations can be skybound. E is for enjoying life, because unless you enjoy every moment of life, including the moment of learning, there is not much fun in life. And W is for working hard, because otherwise history cannot be created. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor Phatak and Mr. Vivek. I think both of them have given wonderful lectures which has given adequate food for thought, particularly for the Vice Chancellors of Open Universities and other participants. I don't think we have got sufficient time, but still one or two quick comments and questions from the audience.
We started 15 minutes late, so we can give about 10 minutes. Yes.
Yeah, some quick comments or questions.
Firstly, I would like to compliment both the speakers for very comprehensive and detailed discussions and approaches they have provided for this subject. I like particularly the business models to be associated in various spaces so that one can find out service opportunities in every sector and somehow create. And Professor Phatak's approach to the MOOCs is really a great approach, and the personalization aspect, we can solve it in a different way. It is not the teaching or learning content, but is the life path. A path in a life. In fact, this is what Mahatma Gautam Buddha had said. Our duty is not to lead you, but to show you the path. Going along the path is your task. This is 2500 years back has been said. So that is the goal of education. We don't rather show path and all the milestones to everybody. It is the path which has to be walked by every individual, and we make him competent and capable to walk that. That will give better personalization. And I think there is a lot of work that has gone in Indian cultures, possibly that can come to handy. And I'm really thankful to you all.
I would just like to add to what Sir said about multiple choice questions. And he very interestingly said that in an online regime, you can really expand and push the boundaries of this type of question or mode of assessment. One quick idea on this is not only you can randomize the questions, but you can serve each option sequentially. Rather than giving all 4 options simultaneously, you can give each option sequentially so that the students who choose the answer by method of elimination are eliminated.
So for every answer, they should say they want to say yes or no,
No.
and then go for it.
Yeah.
Wonderful idea.
And
I will enhance open EDX by this idea.
yes, and if you
I hope you don't hold any idea.
no, not
We are open source people.
no, because if you give the first option, which is actually the right answer, and if he asks for the next one, the assessment is finished. And another thing about the multiple choice questions is that, as Sir rightly said, that that it is very difficult to set good quality multiple choice questions, because each of the options in the multiple choices have to be a conceptual distractor. All options should appear to be exactly correct, but one is subtly correct, and as a result, it provides an excellent tool for the formative assessment, because if a student chooses an option B which is incorrect, but in his very choice of B, he tells the system what conceptual gap existed in his mind, and that's why he can be helped to bridge that gap by a supportive learning material. And another thing about assessment is, sir, we have developed a very interesting technology, and you are really correctly given that vision. That technology is, I call it as black box. So for MKCL recruitment, we do not invite any candidate in any examination hall. He gives the exam from home, and there is a black box technology in a secured browser, by means of which we have the complete process captured for the authenticity of his work. Okay, and the interesting thing is, while he is solving the assessment, it is the democratization of assessment, in the sense that it is for the people, by the people, of the people. So it is put into social media, and so anybody can watch him, and what is he doing, and they can start giving him the sorts of comments and this thing. And at the end of the assessment, because he is in a secured browser, he doesn't see that world. That world is happening around him, but not quite, he is not in that. And then he sees how he has performed. And this can be supported by a stage 2 assessment, where you can once again reconfirm whether there was any malpractice by breaking the barriers of the system. So the cost is tremendously reduced, because I used to conduct our recruitment exams in 50 major cities of India, sending so many supervisors, calling the students. A student from anywhere in Uttar Pradesh had to go only to Lucknow or to Varanasi. Now you can imagine what is the travel cost for him staying there, especially girls. They used to go with their parents to that city to stay overnight and give the exam next day. Nothing is there now. It's all over. So the technology can bring such a fantastic empowerment to people, even in assessment. And most important thing is, all these assessments are evidence-based assessments. He doesn't say that I know it, he shows that he does it. He demonstrates what he knows. So it's an evidence-based assessment. As a result, it can be democratized, because I recruit the students, girls, for my company called MKCL Arabia, which is in Riyadh, and it has branches in Egypt and etc. So the girls are required to teach the girls. no Indian girl is ready to go there by putting burqa. So I recruit from Kashmir, okay, from University of Srinagar. They give the assessment in this form, and then she gives me the permission that her face will be seen in the assessment, and under that permission this technology works. And then the remote assessors start assessing them, so that only few girls I have to bring to Pune or Mumbai for interview. Okay, their parents are free to allow them to give exams from their home. And so hundreds of girls I could recruit in, Saudi Arabia, like that. So many interesting, because evidence-based assessment is a technology which is possible only because of ICT. Otherwise, the student says, I know this, and you have to believe in this. Okay. The process folio idea that I told is Macmillan Dictionary has given credit to MKCL to add this word in English language. I don't know whether that credit is right or wrong, because I just thought of this word. But the process of learning is demonstrated to the public. Okay, this is the biggest thing. An education institute can stand against the criticism of the industry or the public that university mein kuch nahi hota hai. Now you go and see how the student has learned, how he is doing it and saying it and saying it and doing it. So this is a evidence that the university system can produce to the society. There are many things ICT can do this way. And one more small comment, sir, is there is a recent development around MOOCs, because many people, the per learner cost is less, but the per graduate cost is very high, because not so many people are completing MOOCs courses. So as a response to that, there is a new development which is coming called SPOOCs, that is small private open online courses, where a small community of students gathers, say around your study center. They have meaningful interactions, emotional relations, and therefore there is a greater drive to complete. And it's a private space in which they learn, and that group together, keeps going ahead. So it's means if the older classroom was a thesis and if MOOCs was an antithesis, then SPOOC is a synthesis. Yeah.
Which is exactly what I said in my hybrid model.
Yeah, hybrid model.
Sir, may I have one question? Sorry. I have a question from Dr. Pathak. Adoption of the new technology, how to make it a perpetual way of life habit?
It will take its own time. It is not easy. The societal adoption of technology has always been a curve which is delayed, but it will happen. I'll give you an example. Do you call paper, notebook, pen as information technology today? Do you go to a shop and ask for an information technology section when you want to buy a notebook? No. We all assume these are materials of normal life. Till such time that ICT become ubiquitous, where online exam, a computer, connected network, etc. is part and parcel of our life. That will take a long time. Our job is to ensure that the learners and the trainers are together well versed with this technology. That can be achieved faster. So that's all I will say.
So thank you very much, sir. Since both the speakers have talked about technology and its particular utility in open education, I would suggest here one thing, that there should be in our final recommendation, let there be some sort of a consortium or an association of open universities in the country, so that we can share technology. And what our friend from MKCL has said about the cost of ICT in ODL, and the cost will further come down, and the standardization will also be ensured, and the support services that goes through ICT to the students across the country will be uniform. So we can have some sort of a consortium where technology sharing among the open universities will become a part and parcel of our endeavor. I think we'll stop here. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of Yashwantrao Chauhan Maharashtra Open University, I express my sincere thanks to Chairperson Professor Srikant Mohapatra, Vice Chancellor OSOU Sambalpur. I also express my sincere thanks to Professor Vivek Sawant and Professor Dr. D.B. Pathak. Sir, we are very much grateful for your speeches, and you have given wonderful thoughts, and that's why we will take some time to receive and reflect on it. We are very much thankful to both of you, sir. Thank you very much. And I would like to declare one little change. We are going to concluding session before lunch. And for this concluding session, I now request Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Sarunke sir, and invite him on the dais for his concluding remarks. Yes. बंद करते हैं.
बाजूला काढून ठेव.
Yes.
Respected Professor Takhole, Professor D.B. Pathak, Vivek Sawant, Honorable Vice Chancellors of State Open Universities, faculty members and friends. See, actually we thought after lunch we will have one more session, but as per discussion with all the colleagues, we thought that we'll try to conclude within 5 minutes, so we'll have enough time for interaction maybe in our examination section, and maybe you can visit the University Krishi Vignan Kendra and other places. What we have planned is we'll write a detailed report, whatever discussions we have, that report will be circulated to all. So we'll try to get suggestions from all on the report. We have Professor Killedar, he has prepared, and his colleagues, they have prepared the detailed report. It will be circulated to all, and then we'll have the detailed discussion through use of the technology. This is one thing. Another thing regarding the resolution to be given to the MHRD and UGC. And yesterday we have discussed in detail about what are the problems associated with the recognition of the programs, year-wise recognition. That draft will be also circulated, and that draft will be sent to the MHRD and UGC. And another issue is regarding the research. That was also yesterday discussed. So we'll try to write all the things in this particular draft, and we'll try to submit to all. I'm really happy because whatever response we got from all state open universities, official thanks will be given by Professor Killedar. But I could see, I could discuss, I could listen so many things, and today my faculty attended and they could realize what kind of changes are happening. Professor Pathak, I am very happy to mention, without any of these things, we have kept all our material on our website. It is freely available to anybody, and we are not charging. So we have taken some decisions. Even all our certificates, verification, students don't have to come to university. We have kept our certificates this year into the depository of the share market, ESDL. And if anybody wants to verify the documents, they will directly approach them, and the certificates will be available. On-screen evaluation, all these technological things we would like to adopt, and already we have done several things. And sometimes the transparency helps. Can you believe? See, just we adopted online this thing, registration, and our income has been increased by 36 crores. And it was unbelievable, means our income was increased 36 crores by use of, and the transparency helps. everywhere, in examination, in the scrutiny of our study centers, every year, if the transparency is there, definitely it happens. But Professor Pathak, one thing, it's very difficult on mass scale to maintain that quality. I know in IITs how you conduct this particular exam. Not a single question is repeated in your this thing. In our case, I could see some examiners, I'm really, sometimes I feel very bad. Some examiner has given a question paper to his internal examination. He comes as an external in our university and he gives 100% that paper. What I will do? And that's very difficult to check. Means it's a very difficult. Our evaluation head is here. So I always ask him what is going to happen. Because, and that's why I asked him, he should come with the technology. Otherwise, what happens? Nobody will know. Unless we develop our own question banks for our mass university, unless this question bank is developed, and if you reshuffle, then only it's possible to maintain whatever secrecy we would like to have. Whatever happens, they will write anything, and it's really sometimes it's very difficult to have the assessment. We have our own problems, and really we have to see, and we'll meet sometime. We'll discuss at length what we would like to do in future. But it was really eye-opening for us, whatever last 2 days. I'm enjoying because I have several ideas. I don't know how to implement, but definitely we'll try to implement at least few ideas in coming years. And according to the Pathak, I don't have time. 6 months time. Maybe I will say few weeks time. That's fine. But we'll try to do all these things. And really, I'm thankful to you all for attending this particular conference and giving your inputs. And here I conclude, because I don't want to be between you and the lunch as well as you. I think you should visit our exam section at least for a couple of minutes. Thank you all.
Now I request Professor Dr. Manoj Killedar to offer vote of thanks to all the delegates.
After almost 1.5 days of the intense interaction with leading academicians of the open and distance learning mode, finally the last point of the session is here. I am here to present a vote of thanks on behalf of the YCMOU. And first, I wish to express my sincere thanks to Dr. Renu Batra, Joint Secretary UGC, and her very nice presentation about the overview of the education system. I also wish to present my thanks. I also want to thank Professor Ravindra Kumar, Vice Chancellor of IGNOU, Professor K. Nageshwar Rao sir, Vice Chancellor of UOU, Professor S.S. Sarkar, Vice Chancellor of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Open University, Professor Chaudhary from KKHSOU, Professor M. Bhaskaran, Vice Chancellor TNOU, Professor RBP Singh, Vice Chancellor sir, NOU, Professor Srikant Mohapatra sir, Vice Chancellor OSOU, Professor Kapil Kumar sir from IGNOU, Professor Uma Kanjilal madam from IGNOU, and Professor Ravikant sir from IGNOU, Professor Ashok Shawana sir from VMOU, my teacher Dr. D.B. Pathak sir from IIT Bombay. I happen to be his student as well, and Mr. Vivek Sawant from MKCL, Hemlata Chari Madam from Idol, Mumbai University, Dr. Jain from MP Bhoj Open University, and our founder, Vice Chancellor, and a great visionary, and a Vice Chancellor, former Vice Chancellor of the Pune University as well as IGNOU, Dr. Ram Takole sir. Very sincere thanks for your visionary guidance and active participation. Thank you all. I also wish to express my thanks to Badri sir from MHRD for his very thought-provoking guidance yesterday. And I also wish to express thanks to our organizer, various teams, and all our colleagues and press reporters who cover this event in the media. Thank you, everyone. And if I've forgotten anybody's name, it is my mistake. But our thanks is definitely there for everyone's contribution. Thank you.